G'day, and welcome to the Island Podcast with your host, Matthew Sclosey. Today's guest, we have our first Torontonian.
Hello, hello.
Another friend from Algoma, Noel.
Hi, Noel here.
Hi.
Nice to meet all of you, I guess. And I guess we'll get into it, Matt. Where would you like to start?
Well, okay, the first thing I wanted to talk to you about, being a Torontonian and going into history. Have you ever heard of Rochdale College?
No,
No,
I haven't.
No.
But that's what Google's for. So let's pull that up. Why?
Yes.
What do you want to tell me about that?
Well, okay, so this was a college back in the late... Okay, I used college with the quotes, the air quotes. A learning institution back in the late 60s that was started by a group of free thinkers and some U of T students who created a free university.
Oh!
Where, people could just go in. It wasn't accredited, obviously. It was just people would go in, they teach whatever they wanted to teach and all this. It was built out of what was supposed to be a student residence for U of T. And then I'll try and give the brief history. So the building was built as a new residence for students of U of T. Late in construction, there was a student organization involved. They wanted a whole bunch of free thinkers, kind of these liberal elite types. There's a delay in construction, and all these people that they had screened to move into the building had to find other accommodations. So they just kind of like opened the doors to whoever could would move in, and it was a section of Toronto by Yorkville that was kind of part of the hippie craze. In the late 60s. So a whole bunch of these, flower child types.
The hippies.
Moved in, yes.
Moved in, fair.
And it ended up morphing into, this sort of like, have you ever seen the Justin Long movie, Accepted?
Sir, no.
No.
Of course, no.
No. Okay, but it was just this, again, quote unquote, university that just people taught whatever they wanted to teach, and whoever wanted to learn, people, everyone from students to transients to hippies moved in and out freely. And it operated as this essentially a co-op commune type thing.
So wait, did they pay for the space because it was initially supposed to be a residence, or were they able to use it freely?
From what I saw, how it worked is that like you would, so say like one section where you lived would be like one co-op commune, and so there'd be one person there who was responsible for collecting the rent. And then kicking it up to people higher up on the chain.
That is a trust system if I've ever heard one.
Oh yeah, it was completely people moved freely in and out, like it was a thing. And then how this gets into the downfall is that obviously drugs become involved, and there's a lot of hippies and free thinkers in that. And what ended up happening over the years is that you had more of the hippies and free thinkers move out, and then more of drug addicts who didn't have any place else to go, and criminals move in. So by the time around it was closed in 1975, by that time it was all just it was a flop house. It was a drug den, like.
Fair. That's so unfortunate.
I know that's it. It's like it starts out with like this noble ideal of being this kind of
free, open place for people to acquire knowledge, and yet it turns into that. Well, I guess because you don't have any standards, right?
Right. And that's the problem. That's why we have standards and things.
Fair. But then it also depends on who creates those standards, though, because it could just be.
And that's the other problem too. Is you can obviously go too far in the opposite direction and have too many standards.
So it was really the epitome of that time, encapsulated in like a mini institution or a want-to-be institution?
Yeah, I would say a wannabe institution. A sort of, this quasi, or this kind of, faux college, faux post-secondary institution of higher learning.
Fair. Yeah. Well, I hope that people actually gain the knowledge that they went to go and find, if that makes sense.
I mean, that's it, is that you could go, I mean, obviously you're not getting accredited in anything, it's not, but you could go and seek out the knowledge that you want.
I guess I do. I guess today's version of that would just be going on the internet and finding videos or podcasts or free lectures. Yeah. And then learning from that, because you don't get anything official, but I mean, you do get the knowledge from it.
You do get the knowledge, and I think it's a little more...
different idea, though.
Yeah, it's a different idea, but at least it's like a little more like grounded in reality, I guess, I would hope. I mean, obviously there's a lot of things out on the internet and in other podcasts and stuff that's not quite grounded in reality and all that. But...
That's fair. I feel like we're too... divided, like we're too in our own space, in our own homes, away from each other, looking up the things that we want to look. I feel like it's hard to find people with a common mindset unless you're already in an institution or a place where they gather. So that would be nice to find a lot of like-minded people and learn from one another. But I guess if you actively seek out those spaces, then you can find them. It's just I find people don't as much.
Right, yeah. Something we touched about a little bit in the last podcast was like how people kind of like they don't branch out. They don't. They kind of stay circular within their own kind of groups. And we talked about a lot of U.S. politics last episode and how these people they don't try and understand the other side, both sides.
Well, I guess that comes down to discomfort,
I
guess, because we like our bubbles, we're very comfortable within them. But if you talk to, I watch a YouTube channel, I'm not sure if I can talk about them here, I'm going to anyway. Hi, Matt. And it's called Yes Theory, and their whole idea is about seeking discomfort, that life is meant to be uncomfortable, that if you seek discomfort, then you're able to get out of that bubble and experience something from another bubble, like another world, essentially. Something different, something other. And I think that would be a great philosophy for us to take in, especially now that everybody is trapped in their own little bubbles at home, like really understanding how much we've boxed ourselves in as individuals, or not everybody, obviously, but most, and opening up that box. So making yourself a bit uncomfortable for a while to learn something else, I think would be helpful. Have you tried to seek discomfort, Matt? Is this your podcast, your version of that?
Yeah, okay. I wouldn't say. I don't know, like how I try, even if I disagree with a certain political view, I try to at least understand their logic, like how they get that conclusion. If for nothing else, to explain to them why they're wrong. But
they're not wrong, Matt.
And the other thing too is I will seek out opposing opinions from my own, just to I don't know, I want to go say quote unquote understand the enemy, like to understand like what they're like, to understand what they're trying to accomplish, what they're trying to achieve, and
I think I get where you're coming from. Basically, let's say there's a pie and you've decided to take the left quarter, like one of the left quarters of the pie, and someone else took the right quarter of the pie. It's still all a part of the same pie. However, just because you've decided to take the left doesn't mean that you don't want to know what the pie is comprised of.
Right.
It just means that now you'd have to figure out who took the right, who took the top, what have you. So I think it's a bit of that, just wanting to understand.
It's wanting to understand. Like, okay, I did a terrible thing a few weeks ago now.
Dun, dun, dun.
I watched through the David Pakman show, through his stream. I watched the RNC.
Can't say I'm familiar, sir. Please break it down. RNC?
The Republican National Convention.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no. I'm uneducated, apparently. Sorry, sir. But go ahead. Yes. You watched the RNC.
Yeah. So it was just... So I mean, at least I kind of had that filter of someone you know taking shots, taking jokes at what was being said. But like, oh, the speeches were so morose. Like they flipped between Biden is going to be the worst thing that ever happened for the entire world. He's going to take away your cows, and and all your gas engines, among other things. And or it was all of the great things that Mr. Orange Man has done for you, even when it's either the thing you're crediting him for is either A, absolutely terrible, B, done by someone else, or C, ineffective, hasn't done anything really. Like what? You're
what was the
grasping at
purpose
straws.
of it?
Yeah.
Fair. Well, I guess those kind of speeches really depend on people's ignorance, because if you don't know better, like if you don't have the facts to dispute whatever they're saying, then you tend to believe it and you take it at face value.
Right. Yeah.
So I feel like that's a lot of voters, to be honest, because not a lot of people actively go out and try to figure out what's behind the issues that they're supporting. Like they're like, okay, this is something that I support. What's actually going on? What has been done? What needs to be done? They're just like, oh yeah, you know what? I agree with that statement. Go on, I'll vote for you. And I'm like, maybe not. That's a little frightening, but you know, that's the world we live in. That's what we decided to be a part of.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
No. That's it. So, you know, it's been...
So that was your bad thing?
That was a bad thing.
Well, it's a good thing in a way. Now you know a little bit more about the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no. Your face says no.
It was just...
Problematic, troublesome.
Oh, very
worrying.
Problematic. Just very problematic.
Worrying.
Like,
worrisome. Go ahead.
It's just, we did talk about this a little bit last episode, but it's just like how just people they almost refuse to try and understand the other side. They almost refuse to try and understand what these people are saying and like why they think these things are wrong and why you're perpetuating a problem instead of trying to fix it.
Well, I guess if you end up listening to the other side, then you start to question your own beliefs and where you stand on issues. But if you don't have the knowledge to justify why you even stand there, then it becomes very difficult to find a standing whatsoever. So I find people tend to put their shutters up because then they have to question themselves, do the research, do the background. They're like, nah, I'd rather just believe what I believe and call it a day. Yeah. Obviously, I'm guilty of that. I'm positive you're guilty of that. We're all guilty of that. Go ahead.
Sure, to an extent, but like when you get it to the degree that it is in some people, like that gets to be very cultish behavior.
Fair.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true. I guess I wonder if it has to do with the desire to belong, if that makes sense. Maybe, like if you are very strongly in just one bubble, then other people who are like super into that bubble will also identify with you. And then you have people that now believe what you believe. And so it's easier to just keep running around in that bubble and never escaping it. Mm-hmm. So maybe it has to do with wanting to belong with our individualistic cultures.
And that's a big problem in the States too, when you have just two parties that you can only belong to one and you have to, so it becomes very antagonistic between.
I wonder how it would look if there was more than two parties, you know? If they branched out a little bit more.
Yeah,
or main parties, I should say. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, they do have like third parties, like the Libertarians and the Greens. They don't have any legitimacy, really.
That's what I'm saying, like main parties. Sorry, I whispered that part. But the main parties that people actually like go out to support. When you think of the States, you don't think of more than two. You just think of 1, 2, and that's it.
That's it. I'm not sure what that would look like. And because like again, so they're essentially third and fourth party are, is again the Libertarians. That's kind of, it's hard to, how would you peg down a Libertarian like on a 2D political scale? Like Libertarians are kind of hard to peg down. That's
fair. That is fair. I wouldn't know where to plot them.
Yeah.
Plot them on a graph.
Just because they have some really far right views, but they also have some kind of far left views too. I mean, I guess especially in the States, libertarians, I guess, are seen more to the right, I guess, but
Did you put them? Well, honestly, that makes me think about our own parties because I recall in like a textbook, a political textbook that I don't recall the name of. Very legitimate, I know. Wonderful piece of research and information. But basically,
I should note.
Go ahead.
I should note we have degrees from an accredited university.
Hey, all that debt was worth something, right? I can't even name a book. Um, but no, when I was looking at the graph, I looked at our own parties and they were generally in the same area, like where they were plotted.
Right.
And so I was thinking, even though we think that ours are extremely different, they share a lot of the same views. They're just very polarized on certain points. And then people take that polarization and be like, all right, I'm on this team or I'm on that team. Or I agree with this party, I agree with that party. So I guess the states, I guess the libertarians, it's a bit like that. Might fall between the two. I'm not sure. Never mind. I take it all back. I don't know where they would fall. I'm just trying to justify. Go ahead.
I don't know if you've ever seen the meme. It's like a libertarian believes in a gay married couple fighting for their right to keep their marijuana plants with their AR-15, something like that. Using firearms to keep their marijuana. Gay married couples using firearms to keep their marijuana plants safe, or something like that. Something along those lines. I butchered that horribly, but
no, I get the gist of it. Basically, just a collection of both parties, and just it all sprinkled together and mixed together, and that's them. I think that's the gist.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at their base, they want absolute freedom in everything, which is, but I mean, again, like how we kind of talked with Rochdale, is absolute freedom. Yeah, sure, might be virtuous and might be good to an extent, but then, you have
absolute
issues.
Freedom means absolute freedom. You can do whatever. Well, go ahead.
Freedom to starve is no freedom at all, really. So
you need a baseline.
Well, you need some rules. You need some. So, and then I don't know anything really about the U.S. Green Party. I mean, environmentalism, obviously, but beyond that, no.
No. Just shaking my head back and forth like nothing. No. I can't even say I've heard of them really. Maybe in passing.
In the last election, it was Jill Stein. She was there.
Good old Jill, saving the world. Yeah. But I probably shouldn't say that since I don't know anything about Jill. I might have just said a problematic thing. But you know what? That's the world we live in. Got to deal with it. Potentially problematic.
But what was I thinking about when you were talking about our parties? I was thinking about something. But with brain. So yeah, when you put them on, you put our parties on a graph. Like I think a lot of people like to think of them like, the Conservatives are the party to the right, and the Liberals are the party to the left, and the NDP, they're to the far left. When it's more like, you got the Conservatives on the right. Globally, though, compared to most other like conservative parties, I mean, our Conservative Party, like, I think if given the chance, they try to pull some more far right stuff, but they realize like that our population is pretty far left or pretty liberal, so they don't try to do any big scary stuff like the Republicans in the States do, say with gay marriage or abortion. And then
that's fair.
And then our liberals are like, I would say they're probably like center left, if anything. And then like, okay, our NDP are again, quote unquote left, but they're not as left as a lot of people like think.
I agree. I think it has to do with the fact that with our parties, like since Canada is so multicultural, they have to deal with a lot of different opinions and they have to cater to a lot of different types of people from different cultures. Right. And so they can't really crack down 100% on one issue because they have to cater to everyone. Otherwise, they lose their support base. Like they have nobody saying, "Oh yeah, sure, like I'm going to vote for you next election." Right. So it has to be very wide. So I find that's why we end up all within the same space on the graph.
Right. Yeah.
Or not within the same space, but like pretty close to each other with similar-ish views.
Yeah. I mean, that's it. I mean, the big three parties for us are umbrella parties. They try to catch really the most voters.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh, what's it called? I'm not sure. Okay, have you been following a lot of, I don't know why this reminded me of this, but have you been following a lot of the COVID speeches from like
COVID.
Trudeau, from Ford, etc.? Like basically just updates about what's happening with
A,
COVID and how we're responding as a country, etc.
a little bit, not like a whole, not in depth, not. I
Basically turn it off, out of sight, out of mind, that
well,
kind of
no,
thing.
no, 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 no. But like I keep it like in the corner, like in the corner of my eye, sort of thing. Like not. It's not something I'm focusing in on directly, but I try and keep, make sure there's no, hey, we're getting the second wave now.
No, fair. It's like,
But
okay, how much information do I need to take in to stay alive?
yeah, just want the
And
base
save.
thing. I'm listening for words like jump, scare, lock your doors.
Hide in your house, get tested.
We're
Have you had a
dissolving the
COVID
government.
test?
This is the end. That sort of thing. Those sort of things.
Hopefully that never happens, but
Yeah.
what's it called? I think Trudeau proposed a plan to open up a 3M plant in Brockville.
Okay.
And so everyone was a bit scared because he has to like put it past Parliament, but since Parliament's not like, active currently, they were basically accusing Trudeau of skipping the roadblocks put in place to make sure that powers are separated.
Okay. Yeah.
For that, I wasn't sure if you had any opinions on it, but if you didn't read it, I can't expect you, or listen to it, I can't expect you to
Well, I mean,
weigh in on it, I guess.
so Trudeau's trying to essentially force through opening a 3M plant in
In
Southern
Brockville without
Brockville.
passing it with Parliament. Well, I guess essentially my question is, or somewhat is, how our government is supposed to function normally in light of COVID-19. Because when I'm looking around the world, I find that certain places, like China, for example, like they're pushing through things that normally wouldn't get through because COVID has put a stop to a lot of the normal functions of government.
Well,
So I'm wondering on our behalf how that affects us. Go ahead.
Well, any government, doesn't matter what type it is, benefits from something like this because people are scared, they want security. And if the government can say, okay, we can give you back your security if you allow us reign to be a little more authoritative. So, and any government can do that. Doesn't just have to be China, although it's a little bit easier for China because they are an authoritarian state. But especially in democracies, they can kind of have a little bit more reins of control in a situation like this because they're trying to offer security. Because look at what Trudeau's trying to do here. Oh, I'm building another factory that's going to give you back jobs, security,
masks, domestic production, etc.
Right.
Support our party. It's weird. After a while, I guess in COVID from being home all the time and forgetting about my education, I started associating Trudeau's party, like basically the Liberals, with our government. Just like that is it. That is government.
Well,
they are synonymous. Instead of separating it, like no, that's a party that is currently like in office, but it's not. That's it, be all, end all. This is the only party that exists.
Well, with
so
us,
for me, I was just like, the government. Go ahead.
See, there's a difference between us and the States where with us, we're a lot more connected. Everything's a lot more kind of incestuous, if you will. It's all
Why? Why was that what you chose to describe it? Fine, go ahead.
The best word. Everything's a little more interconnected, interwoven, and tied together. Whereas the States, when they founded their country, they created it more to everything to be separate and compartmentalized. Like for us, it's not that. Like in the States, it's the Republican Party, the Democratic Party. Their candidate assumes the office of president, assumes the office of congressman of whatever district, assumes whatever state senator, right, or governor. In us, we form government. It's a slight and subtle change of words, but it's in that slight and subtle change of words that means everything. We what is it? It's 43rd, 44th Trudeau with the last election for the, let's just say 44th, I could be wrong, government of Canada. They are executive and are it's like the three main branches. There's judicial, executive, and the people one, the peasantry. Our executive and peasantry branches of government are interconnected. They're intertwined. They're while they're sort of separate, they are one thing. Is for us to have a prime minister, usually they have to be a member of parliament as well. Whereas in the United States, that's a separate distinction. Is their president is not also a member of Congress.
They can pop out of nowhere.
Right, yeah. Words. They can be a reality TV star. They can be, homeless Joe. They can be anybody who obviously meets the requirements, being 35 years of age, be a naturalized U.S. citizen. I still think they have to be born on U.S. soil. No,
I think so. Yes, I think that was an issue with Obama and something about where he was born, etc.
Yeah, they were trying to say he was born in.
About it.
They were trying to say he was born in Kenya when he was born in Hawaii. So.
Oh yes, I remember that. So basically, before I get into this reference, I was going to say something in passing, but now I'm curious. Sorry, it might seem a bit off topic though. Do you watch a lot of anime by chance?
No.
Okay, I was going to be basically the president of the United States could be the main character in an isekai. So basically you're born into another world, you die in one world, and you come into another one. So they came into our world, doesn't matter where they came from, and they can become president. I was going to say that, but if you don't watch a lot of anime, then the genre of isekai
completely lost on me.
Yeah. It loses its meaning. I'll introduce you to some anime eventually. Wait, okay, what are you into? What do you watch? How do you spend your free time? And then I will base my recommendations off that.
As far as what TV shows I watch, I'm a big fan of post-apocalyptic stuff, like fiction and post-apocalyptic fiction in general. So I was definitely a big fan of The Walking Dead.
Oh yeah,
I'm actually watching it now. So
you watched so much of it. You are obsessed.
Okay, to be fair, I haven't watched any of it in a long time.
No, it's not to be fair. You watched too much of it to begin with. It should be banned from your viewing pleasure. Go ahead.
Another show I'm really into is Sons of Anarchy.
For some reason, I'm not surprised.
No?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So I'm actually forcing... You remember Jared, right?
Of course.
Yeah, so I moved in with him, and I'm forcing him. He's never seen it, so I'm forcing him to watch it now.
Oh, poor Jared.
Yep.
He regrets moving in now. He's like, what did I walk myself into?
Probably. And then obviously there's the spin-off series that started 2 years ago, Mayans MC.
What? There's a spin-off?
Yeah. Okay, so have you seen Sons of Anarchy?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, well then you won't understand why there's a spin-off.
Oh, okay. It's one of those.
Okay, so Sons of Anarchy, it follows a fictional biker gang called the Sons of Anarchy, and there's a rival gang, or somewhat rival gang, made up of mostly Latino bikers.
Okay.
Called the Mayans MC. So after the conclusion of Sons of Anarchy, it follows another charter of this Mayans.
Oh, so it follows the rival group.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the series, you won't understand.
See, this is when I wish that we had similar interests, because then I would understand. All I did was I did a quick Google search of Sons of Anarchy, and I see that there's 7 seasons. That's all I know.
There is.
God, it's so long. Never mind. We're going to have separate interests going forward because I can't watch that. I was going to pick up an episode or two, but there's 7 seasons. I'm a completionist, okay?
Yeah.
If I see it and I watch an episode, I want to watch it all. I will literally sit there and marathon it. I don't have that time in my life.
See, I would like to watch Sons of Anarchy with you rather than Jared, because Jared only wants to watch like 2 or 3 episodes at a time. I know.
Oh.
He doesn't want to do a season a night or anything like that. Anything.
For shame.
Yeah.
For shame, Jared.
Yeah, I know.
Hope you hear this. For shame. I'm shaming.
I know. I hope he does. He's in his room playing Destiny right now. So.
Oh, fair. I'll listen to it later then.
Okay.
Fair. Does Jared watch anime? I'm assuming not.
I don't know. The only thing that I know that the closest thing to anime that me and him watched and have watched is Avatar: The Last Airbender.
It's not anime.
What?
It's not anime. It's a cartoon.
I said the closest thing.
Fine.
The closest thing too,
yes.
And The Legend of Korra as well.
The same. Oh, I didn't like The Legend of Korra.
You didn't?
Legends of Korra as much. No, I think because I used to wake up. My mom bought the DVDs for Last Airbender, right, for Avatar, and so we used to watch them all together, like as a family. So it ends up having a special place in my heart. So when Legends of Korra came out, I was like, "You're not the original. I don't know her."
And
so
see, that,
I didn't relate.
And that's a big problem that series has, is that it's just because it's not the original series. A lot of people hate on it for no reason.
Exactly, that's fair. I'm one of those people. Yeah. I'm ashamed, but it's true.
Did you even watch it at all?
I watched 2 episodes and then I went, oh, she's likable. Yeah. Oh, the characters aren't bad. But why don't I feel a connection to this? I guess I'll watch something else. And now that there's seasonal anime, so basically like 15, 20, 25 shows come out every single season. So like winter, spring, fall, summer of every year, it gets lost in the pile. So I find that I end up not going back.
The show has ended now. There's only something like
it
can't be more than 50 episodes over 4 seasons.
I guess. See, now I want to know how many episodes there are. I'm going to mute this so I can find it now.
No, yeah, no, I'm pretty sure there isn't more than 50 episodes over 4 seasons. I'd be surprised if there was.
52.
Oh, 52.
So yeah, pretty much, honestly.
Oh, okay.
Just 50.
It's
pretty much 50. You were right.
Almost spot on.
You were right.
Almost spot on.
Trust me, no one's watching anyway, so it's fine.
I know for a fact, switching back to Sons of Anarchy, I know for a fact 92 episodes.
Jesus. Honestly, I can't even shame you that much because I do have a few favorites that I end up going back to when I watch a lot. Like I watch Inuyasha. So there's like 167 episodes, and then there's 24 final act episodes, and then 4 movies. And I've watched all of it about 4 times. So I can't shame you that much. Oops, sorry. Move. Let's move here. But it's fine. Okay. In that case, do you have anything that is burning in your brain?
Burning?
Something that you wanted to share with the world, ask the world.
That sounds like a serious problem.
Well, least of our problems, really. I'm sure a doctor could help you in some way.
I don't know. Burning on the brain, that sounds pretty new. That sounds like COVID-22 right there. I don't want.
Oh, God. I hope not. Well, maybe you'll never know. None of us know what's happening now anyways, so exactly, who knows what will happen in the future there. I'm sure this is creating anxiety for anybody watching. We're not helping them much.
Helping?
People escape to the internet for an escape.
Right, yeah.
Actually, that's not true. I guess some people do browse the internet to gain knowledge. The very few, the handful of them.
Satisfy their rage boner, essentially.
Why? Incest rage boner. Okay, those are 2 marks against you.
Rage boner? That sounds terrible.
Well, that does sound like the plot of a few anime shows, to be honest with you. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Don't.
I
Fine,
don't watch anime. It's because like stuff like that. Like
no,
it gets too weird out there for me. Like, okay, I tell you, when me and Rory was the second guest on the second guest ever on the podcast.
Oh, cute. Oh yes, I remember seeing. Go ahead.
we used to live together, and I would talk about, at the time I was talking about Sons of Anarchy a lot, and he would always blather on about this anime or that anime. So
as he should.
finally we made a deal. I said, okay, I'll give you one episode of Sons of Anarchy to watch, and you'll give me one episode of whatever anime you want me to watch, and we'll force each other to sit down and watch and see, which show is superior, right?
Okay.
So now let's flash forward. Geez, I don't know how many years. That was at least 2 or 3 years forward. Guess who is really into Sons of Anarchy, and guess who still doesn't watch anime?
That means he was more open than you. That doesn't mean that your Sons of Anarchy was superior.
Yes, it does. No, that's exactly what it means. It exactly means that my show that I forced him to watch was the superior show. So
you're lucky.
I was trying to be open as much as I could, but I didn't understand anything that was going on. I felt no connection to the characters, and it was just so not grounded in anything substantial that I just didn't enjoy it whatsoever.
I can't blame you, because there are a couple of shows that are like really out there, but then at the same time, I guess it takes a lot to research through it all and find something that you like. Like, for example, there's a whole genre called slice of life, which is just high school kids living their life and being cute.
My sister is really into that.
Honestly, I can see that because it's really relatable. It's very similar to everyday life, but then it's like our idealized version of what a Japanese high school would be. And so we want to live in that world. So we'll watch it and we'll see the characters interact with each other. It's almost like having a group of friends, to be real with you. Like, I know it sounds weird, but I mean, if you relate enough, then you invest in the characters. And then when you invest in the characters, you feel like you're a part of that world, of that dynamic. And then I think that's the allure of anime. You want to be in that world, or you love viewing it, or it's just really stimulating for the eyes. Because what movie? Oh, okay. If you love me, Matt. Okay, I want you. Why did you laugh? Hold on. Rude. But it's fine. I'll take it as long as you watch this. So It was Children of the Sea. It's like your eyes are on crack, to be honest. It's great. The art is crazy. It comes from a lot of reputable sources. So like the director, the producer, etc., the studio. Chef's kiss. Just So if you want to see something that will give you the feeling of drugs without being on drugs, that is my recommendation to you. And come back to me and let me know what you thought. And I guarantee you, if you are open-minded about it, you'll be happy with the viewing experience, and maybe it will open you to the world of anime.
I'm open-minded, but no.
You are. That's fair. No, okay, that's a direct contradiction. I'm open, but that recommendation, that thing that you want me to watch, takes an hour of my life. Nah, man.
I just cannot forgive the Japanese for Unit 731. So
what? Unit 73. Okay, another Google search. Here we go.
Oh God, no.
Well, okay, now I'm a little scared. I'm going to have like the police knocking on my door the second.
I mean, the Japanese police, maybe.
Use a VPN. It's fine.
Oh, okay,
we'll be fine.
So, for those of you who don't know, Japanese. The Unit 731 was a quote-unquote medical unit during the Second World War that. The look on your face.
Sorry.
Conducted medical experiments on mostly Chinese civilians, but also American and Russian POWs. They did terrible things like vivisections, which is surgery without any anesthesia. They would infect people with horrible diseases. They crop dusted an entire town in China, and I forget which terrible,
which place
deadly disease. Yeah. And then they did a whole bunch of other nasty stuff, which I'm not going to mention, but it's just terrible stuff. One of the few things that I ever did research on and then gave me legit nightmares. Terrible. So towards the end of the war, when it was kind of obvious that, hey, we're the Japanese aren't going to win this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I forget the head guy's name, and I always forget his name. I know I've talked about Unit 731 before, and I always forget the head guy's name. Tries to scuttle the base that they were working out of, and tries and flees, goes to the Americans and says, hey, I've got all this medical information, research from all these horrible experiments that you guys want. If I'm to give it to you, you need to keep me safe, exonerate me of all these crimes, and keep things under wraps, right?
Asylum, almost.
What?
Am I using the right term? Asylum?
Like sort of, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the Americans take the deal. The Russians find the base that they were working out of Manchuria. They end up setting up a court, for war crimes to try all these people involved with Unit 731. The U.S. denounces it as "quote unquote" fake news.
Oh.
And all this medical research that this guy did, they already knew half of what was involved. It was essentially useless what he turned over. But because the Soviets try these people and the Americans denounce it, it becomes part of the Cold War narrative. Whereas, the existence of Unit 731 is communist propaganda. So now it fast forward 50 odd years, and then Japan denies the existence and or the severity of Unit 731. So it becomes almost tantamount to Holocaust denial between the Japanese and mainly the Chinese government. So just a terrible, terrible situation.
It's a lot to unpack. But okay, here's the thing though. I'm not going to sit here. Well, one, thank you for the information. I did not know. So now I know a bit more. But at the same time,
nightmares too now.
Thank you. Wonderful. Good, great friend. I'm glad I came on this podcast. I appreciate you. But here's the thing though. I feel like every country has done something horrendous.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Every single one. So I can still blame the Japanese government, but I can't write off all the products of Japan because of Unit 731. So I guess if that's your...
No, okay.
I'm not saying that's your overall view of Japan. I'm just saying that if that's a part of how you view the government of Japan.
I was joking.
Fine.
You've
saved yourself. You saved yourself hateful comments.
Okay. And it's something, again, we talked about last episode, was that...
I feel like everyone has to go back and watch that last episode now. It's mandatory.
They better.
In order to
understand. I know in the last episode I talked about the episode before that, and I know in that episode I talked about the episode...
So plug it in yourself. Self-plug.
Just start at the beginning.
Start in the beginning. Take our advice. Marathon it all.
Continue
and then come back to us. Thank you.
You're back here now. Start again.
Up that view count.
Right. No, but we did talk about the last episode. Is governments are essentially made up of people. No one's perfect, and with people, no action committed by one person is not the sum of that person. Whether they have commit a bad act or a good act, that does not make that person, right? So
that is fair. I agree with you. There you go.
Yeah.
I won't paint you out to be a bad person anymore, Matt. I apologize.
Yeah, sure, I believe you 100%.
As you should. I'm innocent. Innocent as a lily. Look at this face. So mean to me, but it's fine. I'll forgive you. I was going to say something to you now, but I can't recall what it is. I know that's not very helpful to you.
Yeah. Well.
You're gonna pick my brain. You can't come over here and just dive in. Can't magic school bus this brain here, but it's fine. You can go with what you were going to say.
I didn't have anything off the top.
Never mind. Okay. Complete switch of topic.
I can't hear you. Hello? I can't hear you at all. Okay, we're getting a pause symbol. Technical issues going on right here. You good? No.
Still not good. Oh no, I unplugged my mic. Bear with me.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs.
Are we back online?
All right, yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, who's a wizard? Oh, me. Sorry, I unplugged my headset, and honestly, that was record time, I must say. Listen, this headset has been driving me crazy, and it took all of, what? Did you time me 30 seconds to reconnect? So,
Something like that, yeah.
wizard, genius, thank you. Anyways, sorry about that. Ugh. Honestly, maybe that's a sign that I shouldn't talk about fruit arrangements. Edible fruit bouquet.
What's that have to do with food arrangements?
Because I was going to ask you if you've ever made one, and then I realized how off topic it was, and how unrelatable.
not necessarily. I've prepared food for like guests and stuff, and I've arranged it in a way, but I haven't made like a quote unquote food arrangement where like you would actually like buy at a store or.
Wait. When did you prepare food for guests?
I don't know, like multiple times. Like I've made.
I guess you are. Go ahead.
I make food and stuff all the time. I can, unlike most people, apparently, I can actually cook. So.
Oh, you've never cooked for me. I think that's something that we would all like to see. Mm-hmm.
I've never. Well, you know what? I'm in Ottawa. That's only how far is that from?
Wait, you're in Ottawa?
Yeah.
Am I? I feel like you've told me this, but I'm just being a bad friend at the moment. Ottawa. How are you in Ottawa? When did you go to Ottawa? Hold on.
At the beginning of August.
Oh, this year.
Yes.
Oh, that's fine. Okay.
No, I've been in Ottawa the past year, pre-COVID, and.
That's why I was like, I don't know, but to be honest with you, if it's in 2020, then I'm forgiven because it's a mess. Oh well, hi Ottawa, Toronto, not that far. That's a lie. That's pretty far.
It's not 6 hours? Far. Okay, compared Toronto to the Soo v Toronto to Ottawa. What?
I think it's not that bad in terms of difference. I'm pretty sure Ottawa's like 6 hours.
Yeah.
And then the Soo is 8, so
closer to 9 or 10, I'd say.
Then you drive slowly.
Okay, sorry. Drive the speed limit.
Okay.
A,
well,
not trying to get no tickets.
Well,
B, you got to add in stops and stuff like that. And
no stops. You pee in a bottle. You bring your snacks. You bring hand sanitizer, and off you go.
You're not going to stop to go to the bathroom. You're not going to stop to like eat an actual meal. I'm
joking. My dad's great with driving. I don't drive personally, so my wonderful father, dearest, drives me around places and drove me to the Soo. So he's great. To be honest with you, we were pulled over once.
Yeah, see, that's
just once. But also, I don't know if that has to do with the fact that he was a black man. Because everyone was the same speed, or if he was speeding.
That is a possibility, but
there you go. So there, I guess we have no basis then for how long it takes to get to the Soo, other than Google Maps. Google Maps.
I still like to say 9 or 10 hours, just because I like to stay under the speed limit, not
under.
Okay. If I'm driving a normal vehicle, no, I'll drive the speed limit. My car.
What car do you drive now?
What
car do you drive now? The same car?
I'm not gonna tell.
So they can, the world can find you. Try to figure out what your license plate is.
I don't know how many Ottawa listeners I have.
Gotcha. Well, keep your, I guess, outside identity on the outside.
Yeah.
Fine. But we just know that you drive a car that keeps you safe, and you will drive it under the speed limit to be a good citizen and keep everyone on the road safe.
Yes.
I clap for you.
Yeah. So no, I like, and just to give yourself extra time too. I mean, you don't want to.
Why would you want extra time on the road when you're driving for over 8 hours?
Because when you're driving from a place to place, I don't know, this is my philosophy, you don't know what could be going on. There could be construction. There could be, especially in the summer, and especially in Southern Ontario and Eastern Ontario.
That's fair.
There could be accidents, especially if you're driving on like a weekend. or what have you. So you don't know, and if you're driving in the winter, you don't know about the weather conditions too.
Oh, the winter is pretty scary.
Right.
That is fair.
So you give yourself extra time in case, something, and so then you don't have to like, oh, I made an appointment at 5 o'clock, and oh, I'm gonna be late now. It's like, no, you leave earlier, give yourself extra time. Like, it's just little things that you can control to give yourself less stress and not to worry. And the other thing too, what if you're driving along and you see like a cool roadside attraction?
I was going to say, I thought that you would drive slowly because of sightseeing.
Well, maybe there's a yard sale you might want to stop at,
or a chip
craft brewery you might want to sample.
Okay, look, now you've thrown out the safe driving thing out the window.
Hey, maybe not you as a driver should be sampling the craft beer, but you could buy a 6-pack for when you get to wherever you're going. And
fair. Sour beer is the best, and I find that you can find sour beer at craft breweries easier. So that is fair. I'll give you that.
There's a whole bunch of things. I like to. Now, meanwhile, I could probably get from the Sioux to Detroit in about 5 hours.
Honestly, I don't know how long it's supposed to take to Detroit. Is it supposed to take 5 hours, or is this just like mat time?
I don't know. I mean, I just whenever, because I went for a few concerts and that, and just it's got a higher speed limit, so you go faster, and I don't know. I can scoot down there pretty fast.
I find the transition between Canada and the States, like in terms of driving, like when you're switching from Canada into the States, very scary.
Yeah.
Just because of how fast you have to go.
Well, it's between how fast, and it's just, I'm sorry, but they're worse drivers. Like they.
And he started a war in the comments.
I said it. No, but like I did a road trip not too long ago down through Illinois, and it was absolutely terrible. Like some of the things I've seen, like people cutting people off. They're not really aware or care about any other driver but themselves on the road. I saw one driver cut off an 18-wheeler trying to get into their exit at the right time, and they were going to they just about slammed their brakes, and if they did, this 18-wheeler would have hit them, and if they were lucky, pushed them off the highway. If not, just fucking crushed them. But they luckily smartened up and just got out of the lane at the right time, and
But seeing something like that is a great example of the lack of care for other drivers on the road.
And that wasn't the only thing I've seen. And then you hear so many stories, especially like with in snow. I mean, some of the more northern states like Michigan and Wisconsin, I mean, they know how to deal with snow, but you hear they get, and I mean, I get it too, that you're not used to getting any snow, but it's especially in the southern states, if they get a little bit of snow, I mean, that's
the world ends.
The end of the world.
Cars are abandoned on the road. I think it was in Dallas. People started abandoning their cars and walking home and walking to establishments trying to get home. It was just madness.
Right.
And I think that what plays into this safety aspect when it comes to driving the states is also the maintenance of the roads.
Yeah.
There's so many pieces and parts of cars on the side. It was astounding. I didn't participate, but I guess I went along with a road trip to Pennsylvania from not Toronto, but Kingston. And just being along for that drive and going through New York and then Pennsylvania, it was absolutely insane just seeing how bad the roads were. I was surprised. I was like, how is no one concerned? Why is this not a topic of conversation more often? This is craziness. But I guess how they actually maintain the roads is completely different than how we do ours. So I get it. Still terrifying.
Still.
Anyways, that's more people that we've offended today. So
that's the goal. Is just to tick up how many people we can get offended.
Americans. Exactly. We've checked off.
I mean, Americans are kind of the baseline. This is going to be episode number 8, and if you haven't gotten it by now.
But what about the dual citizens? That people who have dual citizenship.
I still have to have Joe on to really, because he's a dual citizen.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
Oh wow! Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then love to hear his perspective on things, because I'm sure that he's experienced both sides of the coin, because
for
he's
sure.
a part of
For
both.
sure.
Oh,
So
I'll tune in.
I want to have him on. Like, this is probably because I know I mentioned it to Rory, and I know I mentioned it last episode a few. I want to have him on just so I can really needle and rail him.
Okay, so never mind. I
A
recommend
bunch
you
of-
don't come on, Joe. Stay away. Stay far away. But no, that'll be an interesting one.
I've been waiting for when he has free time, and B, I want him to listen to the episode me and Rory did, just because I think we ragged on him for like half the episode.
You call yourselves friends. For shame. For shame.
I told him like weeks after.
It's like, you know what? This is on the internet. It's posted. I'm not sure how many people have seen it. I've tried to share it.
Actually, I do.
But
I know at least like I forget what the number is, but at least like 30 people.
Oh, nice. Oh, fair.
That specific episode, yeah.
Can you like, or I should know this myself, but can you like or dislike the episodes that you post? Like where you post them?
Depends on. Oh, like myself?
Like, okay, your podcast. Plug your podcast while you're in your podcast. So where do you post it? Can you dislike it? Can you like it? That kind of.
So depends on so you can definitely, I think, like depending on the podcast platform you're using. So like if you're using Spotify or Apple or Google or like any of the kind of the third party ones, I'm pretty sure you can go in and you can like it or comment or whatever on those specific ones. I do have a Facebook page for the Island Podcast if you search that up. And you can obviously like it there. And then as well, I do have a little website that just has the links to the podcast on all those podcast platforms. So.
Wait, you have a website? I went through the Facebook. I didn't go through the website. What's the URL for your website, Matt?
It is the let me just be 100%. It is.
I love it.
Yeah, no, because the thing is like, oh, it's this, right? And I'm like, oh wait, what if it's not that? And it's
fair. Better safe than sorry. Don't give anyone any more views than they need. Right. Just in case someone's stolen.
Yeah, no other. But if you do go to the Facebook page, it should be, the link should be there under about.
Oh, I think it might be.
About, if
I'll
I'm not
you do the
mistaken.
research. Come on.
Yeah, I'm just. I'm looking at my phone right now, just trying to find the
information that I am asking for.
Right.
That's fine.
Oh, okay. Here we go. It is the island, all lowercase, .buzzsprout, our wonderful hosting site, .com. The island.buzzsprout.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's where we can find all of your information. Good to know.
Right.
See, look at that. Aren't you glad you had me on? Now you've plugged yourself a couple of times.
Oh, yeah. Plug myself on my own podcast. That's
honestly, that's what people do. I mean,
yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I mean, yes, definitely. But like, you're already listening to the podcast. You're listening to this, so
it's easier to share this way.
Yeah.
There you go.
No, definitely check out the Facebook and all that, and but if you're, there's no conceivable reality if you're listening to this, you already know that the podcast exists, so there's no way you can come back.
Well, here's the thing. I'm wondering, let's say someone found a clip.
What?
Exactly. So word of mouth. So let's say someone shared a clip of it, right? And then they didn't link anything, and now this is the clip that they see, and they're like, "Ooh, what's that? Ooh, I want to hear his beautiful voice come through." Here we are. Here we are. That's fair. Okay. So it's that. You know what this reminds me of? This style of a podcast. It was something that I watched on Netflix, and basically they chose a topic and they had experts within that field come in and just shoot the shit for a while. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's kind of psychedelic. There's like rainbow cows and things
okay.
on Netflix. Am I going crazy, or do you?
Possibly, probably.
Fine. You know what? I'll find it for you later. I'm a little disappointed that I can't have it now, though. Mm. Can you hear me?
What? Yes, yes.
Okay. I started crying.
More
Basically,
technical issues.
yeah, Logitech. Honestly, being a part of our generation, think that I'd be better at technology, but not the case. My job is
Yeah,
literally walking people through like payment machines. Like I work in the PCI industry, so like payment
yeah.
card industry. Oh, I shouldn't say PCI and then industry. Anyway, PCI. Working with PCI. And basically, when you go to tap your card at a store, I handle that machine. The
Okay.
machine you tap your card on. So I spend all day explaining technology to people, and yet I can't work an iPhone. I can't plug in a headset. I don't know how I'm
So
a part of this
you
generation.
should be better with tech than me. I grew up in a town of less than 1,000 people.
Oh, oh. But then you had nothing else to do but tinker. So I'm
Yeah,
not
but I
surprised.
read old dusty tomes of history instead, so
Oh, that's fair. Oh, that's
that's
adorable. Mm.
that's
You
what I did.
you spent your times wisely.
Yes. Reading about the tragedy that is Balkan history.
There you go. The way that it's supposed to be. The
Uh-huh.
young Matt reading.
Yeah.
What's it called? I remember when I got my first computer though. Like
Yeah.
basically we were the only ones out of all of our friends that got a computer. Like, what's a computer? I don't know. Oh my gosh, it works. And so everyone like flocked to our house. And then ever since that day I was just like, ugh, technology. What a pain in the ass. I never got interested in it. So now I only use it for the bare minimum. I'm like, okay, what do I need this for? Like I lose my phone quite often.
Right.
I don't know where it is because what's the point in it other than I guess to talk to people and have something at your fingertips. But it's what generation are we in?
I don't know. Are we millennials?
See, here's the thing, because I think we fall like right on the cusp of one and the other. So like we're right in
Right.
between two generations. So some people don't consider us a part of, is it Z? Am I hold on.
I don't know.
We're doing some math. Not math. We're doing some research. I'm going to find this. While I do so, you can speak, Matt.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really know. Like, am I? See, this is the thing. It's like, especially like with me, is like I don't relate with a lot of people my age. Is like like me in particular. Is like I just have a lot of interests that like I I like country music. I know few people my own age that like country music.
Mm-hmm.
There are a few, but they're very few, and it's just I don't know. I don't get pop music. Like it just sounds terrible to me. It doesn't sound like music. And
Well,
whatever, to each their own. You can listen to what you want to listen to, but I don't want to listen to that.
music is literally about preference.
Right, yeah.
It's what feeds your soul. So I can't blame you if a certain genre of music doesn't feed your soul, then why listen to it?
Yeah.
But that also might have to do with your bubble, because I'm sure that there's a lot of people our age that like country music. It's more so you're not by anybody who likes country music, if that makes sense.
Yeah, especially right now. But like I don't know. Like I only feel like I don't know. I just feel like definitely the majority of my friends, they don't listen to country music. They don't like country music. And not only that, they despise it.
Oh, that's unfortunate. I don't like your taste in country music,
Why don't you
but I'm
like
not
my
opposed to country
why
music in
my
general.
wow, okay, this is new fresh information. Why do
Mm,
you why do you specifically hate my taste in country music and not
mm. Well, I find the country music that you listen to tends to be very sad. Like the subject matter is very sad, or I
okay.
feel like I'm not included in their target audience. Like I feel like they're
Yeah.
not singing about me or for me. Like I'm not a blonde hair, blue eyed, tan skinned woman. You know what I mean? And so I feel like I'm excluded from that a bit. And lastly, the tempo of it is a
Hmm.
bit slow for me. So when I listen to music, it tends to be very fast paced. I love
Okay.
dancing, so it's always something I can dance to.
Yeah.
And so with your music, I find you don't dance as much and you like a more chill, mellow vibe.
Mm.
So that to me doesn't relate because I don't want to just sit there. I want to listen to music like while I'm walking or to dance or
Right.
while I'm about to read something or while I'm cleaning. I want something to energize me, but
Yeah.
your music is just so slow.
Okay. I can
It's so
I
slow.
can't I mean it's not like that slow.
It's
I mean
slow,
it
sir. Mm-mm.
I mean, there's some good stuff. Someone that I've been talking about now is actually a Canadian country artist who's kind of, I would say he's doing a lot to bring back this revival of this old country. He's called Colter Wall.
Spell it for me.
Colter Wall.
Mr. Wall.
So he's actually the son of, I think it was like Saskatchewan's premier of Saskatchewan.
You are correct.
He's kind of got this really just this great like gravelly sort of voice, and he's kind of bringing back this almost this Johnny Cash-esque highwayman kind of era of country music, and I don't know if that would still be within your interest or wheelhouse, but I would say that like his stuff kind of has more of that faster beat. I mean, it's still probably got that sad tone, but it's definitely got more of that faster beat. And I don't think I mean, I would say its target audience is probably like old white people, but still it's.
Apparently the genre is classic country.
Yeah.
Classic country. And it's 25. Honestly, I'd give it a listen because I can't say I don't like something unless I've listened to it, right?
Yeah.
Experienced it firsthand. So I've saved him in my folder of people I'd like to listen to.
I would say probably my favorite song by him off the top of my head is Kate McCannon. However, that has to do with the murder of a woman who cheated on him. But that's immaterial.
Is that... I'm a little dumbfounded. Okay. Well then. That is not how you introduce someone to an artist. My goodness. But if it's your favorite, I'll give it a listen and hopefully it doesn't ruin my impression of this young man.
Maybe not. But okay, but you've got to understand is that there's a lot of like, again, that kind of classical country music.
Is it about death?
Oh yeah, and like murdering people and
Okay.
Yeah. It's all about people who have done you wrong, and you're getting retribution and justice, and
kind of like the feeling of bitterness.
Yeah,
encapsulated in country music. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
See, I don't feel that.
Yeah, that kind of genre and era.
Well, I mean, if it's an emotion that you felt, I can understand why you would relate to it.
Yeah.
I don't feel a lot of bitterness towards people. Okay, I'm kind of like, all right, bye.
What's that other? I think it's called "Sleeping on the Blacktop."
Sleeping.
I think that might be a better song that we're just to ease your toe into.
Thank you. I appreciate it. As long as it's not about murder, we're good to go.
There's a lot of songs about murder, and not just in.
The only ones I know of are like by Eminem.
Really?
Other than that,
just Eminem. Eminem is the only recording artist who talks about murdering people. I think of a ton of country artists, and not just like the Colter Wall types, but like who have discussed murder in their songs.
That's fair. Well, I don't listen to a lot of country, so I wouldn't know. I guess artists in general, though, maybe DaBaby. He's a rapper. Would be the only other one because he talks about guns a lot, but he's wonderful. He's a beautiful little soul. But I don't remember a lot of death. I listen to K-pop, so for K-pop, I find that since it has to appeal to such a young demographic, sometimes like they are very wise about what they choose for the subject matter.
So there's not a lot of murder in K-pop, is what you're saying?
Definitely not. Maybe like in the videos themselves, like you see it visually represented in subtle ways, but you don't actually hear about pop.
There has been no K-pop group that has covered Pony. No.
Oh, Pony? Like Magic Mike Pony? Well, it's not Magic Mike Pony, but I remember it from Magic Mike.
It was Genuine was the original.
Yes.
The original artist, and then I think there was a UK band that did like a rock cover.
Oh yeah.
And then, I don't know what version they used in Magic Mike because I've never seen Magic Mike because I'm a pure.
If you're behind the times, that's what you are. Okay. Magic Mike. Okay, well, Magic Mike you can kind of skip, but XXL, yes. That is something you should watch.
I don't feel I'm the target audience for Magic Mike.
And that's okay. You can still enjoy his beautiful face. I got you, Matt. These are my recommendations. Take them. They're to enhance your life. But what's called the only kind of risque American song that I can think of that's been covered in K-pop in recent times would be "Take You Down" by Chris Brown. If you know that song, basically about intercourse. Take you down, like literally take you to bed. Take you down. Other than that, who is it? It was somebody from Card. Anyways, I won't get too deep into the beautiful world that is K-pop, but I'll leave you there. I actually have a poster on my wall right now that I'm looking at. It's beautiful. You're welcome. It's up twice. I'm plugging twice in your podcast. Go listen to them. They're great. You too, Matt. You go listen to Twice.
I'm good.
You're good. The song that I recommend to you is "Feel Special." It's about basically finding your place in the world and understanding that even when you feel lost, the people around you are important to you and they'll bring you back to where you need to be. Look at that. Wonderful. The message to save you from all the bitterness of country music. You have something nice to bring you back.
In the meantime, there's this other new artist that I'm kind of interested in. He's called Tim Montana.
Montana.
Yeah, he's got this song called "Mostly Stoned," where he just sings about being alone in his house, being mostly stoned.
Oh. Okay, I was missing the D on the end of stone. So it's like mostly stone? Like, is he hard or is he like set in his feelings and he can't escape? No, stoned. He's stoned.
He's
Gotcha.
just singing about like, this my ex is doing great in life while I'm just sitting alone at home.
Stoned.
Mostly stoned.
Got ya. Okay. Well, I mean, he should be thankful that he has a new fan there, so he's doing something right. Oh, I'm not gonna listen to it.
Actually, he did a music video and it was directed by Charlie Sheen of all people.
Oh, how interesting. How odd.
Yeah.
Would not have put together that pairing. He has a very big beard. I looked him up.
Yeah.
I love beards, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I won't listen to him. Sorry, Matt. But he looks like he's lived an interesting life. Hopefully he continues living that life and finds something to be happy about. Like his new fan, Matt. There you go. Was there anybody else? Oh, what's his name? He's a country artist, and I find that he ends up, maybe I'm categorizing the genre incorrectly, but he's more on the poppy side of things. Is it Luke?
Brian?
No. Not Brian. Brian's very poppy.
Yeah.
Luke Combs.
Oh, Luke Combs. He's kind of, in my opinion, that this is what this is. I would say like he's kind of straddling the line between like there's this revival of more classical country and pop. Like I think he's kind of in the middle there, where he is a little bit popish, but I would say like definitely like he is. I would say he is definitely beneficial for country music. I think he is.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because he's bringing in different demographics. Like, for example, I know of him, you know of him. There's somewhere we can meet in the middle because he's straddling the middle.
Right, yeah. So I would say, I mean, that is beneficial. And I do think, I really do enjoy a lot of his music, too, that he's come out with. And another artist I would say in that same vein is Morgan Wallen.
Oh, I can't say I'm familiar. But
no, I see a lot of people like kind of again in that same vein of Luke Combs. Of again, he's a little bit popish, but he does have roots in like a little bit more traditional country music. And
that hair, that it's a mullet.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
yeah.
Reminds me of Miley Cyrus.
I would say like probably my favorite song by Morgan Wallen in particular was "The Way I Talk."
Oh.
Yeah.
See now.
Up Down. Up Down is probably my favorite, but like "The Way I Talk" is a close second.
I'll go with the way I talk because Up Down reminds me of a K-pop group called XID. It's like, we at it, we at it. And basically, like, they thrust their hips up and down,
Oh,
just like back and forth.
oh,
It's a very stupid, simple dance, but
yeah.
not stupid. It's a cute dance, but that's what it reminds me of. So we'll go that way. But yes, the mullet. Have you seen Miley Cyrus lately?
Lately?
She has a little mullet for Midnight Sky.
I haven't seen her, but I listened to. She was just on Rogan's podcast.
Oh, really?
Not too long ago, but before he moved to Texas.
Texas.
Yeah.
Did you sing Midnight Sky? Do you recall?
No, she didn't sing anything to my
recollection. No. Boo, Miley, boo. You wanted more. Anyways, so their look is very similar to me, Morgan's and Miley's. See, this is why I wish you had a computer in front of you, because then you can.
Have a computer in front of me.
Then get to clacking.
But I don't want to mess with anything.
Fine. Yeah, that's fair, honestly, because I did unplug over here, so maybe.
Right. Yeah, you had what? Two serious technical issues.
Okay. Sir, simmer down. There was one. And then the second was partial. But it's okay. That's fine. Okay. Sorry. So that's music. That's a little bit of politics that we know nothing about. A little bit of history. And a
little bit of everything.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. It seems like it's just bumping along here.
Okay, here's something I'd like to ask you, just to get your opinion on it.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Go ahead.
With the election in the United States coming up, what I am under the impression that there's going to be a civil war happening.
Why?
In the United States. Really?
Yeah, why?
Because I just think that the country is very divided, and I think with this election, things are going to come to a head. And my scenario, what I think is going to happen, is I think Biden's going to win, but he's only going to win by a narrow margin. And then Trump will declare that the election, rigged, or there was fraud, whatever, and he'll use that as a justification to stay in the White House. And either he will have to be forcibly removed, or he will use military power to try and stay in the White House.
Oh, wow. Okay. That was not where I thought that was going. All right. No, I think Trump's going to win.
You think Trump's going to win?
I do.
Okay.
Because I feel like when I'm thinking about the political climate, like on an international scale, I'm thinking about the relations between America and China at the moment. And it's very clear, it's been clear for years, that China has gained quite a bit of political power, even more so than they had before. And now they are or becoming the dominant, the head, the country that everyone is like, oh my gosh, you're the best one, like the superpower of the world, right? Yeah. And so the relation between America and China is very tumultuous, and so we don't know where it's going. Yeah. And I think that it would be important for them as a country to have the same person dealing with China. Although there's been hiccups, although Trump's been fucking Trump, because it's Trump, I feel like it would be vital to keep that connection that they already have instead of switching over leaders, because then you start at square one again, and then negotiations kind of start at square one again in terms of how the president will handle those situations going forward. So I feel like people will want stability, especially during COVID when everything is super unstable.
Right. That is actually something that I don't think we've talked about, is that, the power of an incumbent president. And, in a crisis, and again, people want stability and all that, but I don't know. Then
he's done. He can only serve this last 4 years, then they're done. You can't serve more than 8. So then we have no more Trump ever. So we don't have to ever worry about Trump again.
Yes, but there's a few things. Is you could definitely have whoever comes, say Trump wins, you could still have, the next person coming in could be Trump's successor. It could be Don Jr. It could be, Pence, maybe. It could be anybody who subscribes to his ideology, who it might not be him, but,
I've fallen into the trap. It still continues.
And the other thing is, if this is Trump's second term, is he could try and pull a lot of what Putin's pulled in Russia, is try and reform the laws governing his presidency to either extend his term or abolish term limits, or
Oh, that's fair.
he
So
could try. I'm
he
not
wins,
sure how viable that might be, but it's a possibility. I wouldn't put it past him if he hasn't looked into it already, if he would look into that in his second term, if he got a essentially a landslide victory.
To be honest, I think he'd pass before then. Like, before he'd be
too.
able to, like, hopefully not, because, like, even if I don't agree with all the things that he's done, he's still a human being. Like, I don't want him to pass away before his time, but he also is quite old. What is he? He's 74? Right. He's 74 now. So if you add another 4 years on, that's 78. Life expectancy in North America has gone down significantly in the last couple of years, and so I feel like
still you're roughly in the 80s, and at him, I mean, most people would say he's probably not in top shape.
Exactly, and so that's why I feel like he could do a lot of damage before he goes.
That's the thing.
So that's true. So I am worried about that. I didn't think about that.
You're probably one of the only people who's probably told me that they do not wish harm on Trump.
Well, I mean, I fell into the trap, like I was saying earlier, of his party being synonymous with government. Like, just that is the states now. Trump is the states. Like, that's not the case. He's just a figurehead. Right. Although he obviously helps make decisions, like, he's not the be-all, end-all when it comes to decision-making in the states. And so even if Trump is the face for now, there's going to be a new face. There's going to be someone else that people aren't going to agree with or hate. So why would I wish bad things on Trump himself? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. He's done shitty things, but he's still a human.
I know once I was talking with a girl, and we were talking about like our ideal post-apocalyptic society. And I was I know this is how
it makes sense though. It makes sense. Go ahead.
So I was talking about that every person would still have a purpose, still has worth in a post-apocalyptic society. And she brought up the point, well, what if Donald Trump was there? Like, how could, and I think this was, well, he was still he would have just won the presidency, I think.
Oh, so this is back in the day.
Yeah, this is a few years ago. So it's like, what if Donald Trump was there? Like, what would you use him for? It's like, well, we would put him in a cage and we'd poke him with sticks for our amusement.
That's awful. I stopped painting you as a bad person, and then you bring this up.
No, but
I know.
My point is everybody has a use. Everybody can be useful. And even if you supposedly hate someone so much, we can still find a purpose for them.
Gotcha. Everyone has a purpose. Some will be tortured, unfortunately, and some people will be free. Gotcha. Good. Oh my God. Oh, no, but I do understand where you're coming from. Everyone does have a purpose.
Yeah.
I guess it comes from your perspective. Everyone has a perspective. Like, there's literally no way that you can be born into this world without a perspective. Like, you think from someplace, you were born somewhere, someone influenced you in some way, and then that became your perspective. And so for a lot of people's perspectives, Donald, I say it like we're friends, Donald, Trump, doesn't have a lot of good uses to them. No. So that is fair. That was something I wanted to ask you about, but there wasn't really a question associated with it. It was more so, I was watching anime again, and it was Agretzko, and basically she said something along the lines of, everyone is born with debts, whether that's like a shitty family, or they don't have a lot of money, or they have a lot of money, but then they have a lot of emotional trauma, what have you. Everyone is born with a debt, and you spend the rest of your life trying to repay that debt, trying to heal your wounds internally, trying to make money, what have you. And that is just the cost that we pay of living in this world. And so it made me pause and think for a second of one, everyone comes from perspective, so everyone comes from like a lifestyle or a place, and two, that I guess it's just our cross to bear, like where we're born, who we have in power, who we choose to put into power, what's happening around the world, having to deal with COVID, what have you. Like all of that is just within our lifetimes. Those are the debts that we have bared and that we have to deal with and that we have to, I guess, work against or manipulate or modify or change, what have you, in different ways. So again, it wasn't a question. It was more so just a interesting thought about your place in the world, if that makes sense. Do you think about your place in this world often? Like, is that something like keeps you up at night or that you sit and think of?
No.
Oh my gosh. Just not at all.
Trying to go with the flow. That's about it.
So you're in the camp of life is life and I am living it. And so I'll just live it the way that I would like to live it, that kind of thing?
Pretty much. No. Just going with the flow.
How high your voice got.
One thing I wanted to ask you.
Go ahead.
Do you remember the last election night? 2016. The US
yes.
president.
Weren't we? We were together.
Yeah, it was you, me, and Joe.
In Algoma University.
The new
like
res.
in New Res and what is it? A common space.
Yeah, it was in one of the common spaces, and we were watching the election live as it happened.
It was so stressful, man.
Remember how we thought that Hillary was gonna win?
I know, and then I was like, Russia interfered. That's when Russia interfered. The Trump won.
I said this so many times, but like I remember when Pennsylvania flipped from blue to red. We were watching this CBC like live map that was showing you how each state was going. I remember when Pennsylvania flipped from blue to red, I got this pit in my stomach.
And it was awful. Like it felt like the world was ending because it's a little dramatic, but like low key. I was like, this was not within my scope of expectation. I was not thinking this thing would happen. No. See, honestly, and then I didn't think. Okay, I remember saying this naively, stupidly to a friend. I was like, "Oh, if Trump's in power, like it'll be bad, but like it won't be that bad." Like I don't agree with him, but like we'll live.
There won't be a new scandal every day. Like how can?
Yes, or like is it Senate? His Senate, like the people he chose to be in Senate.
No, it would be.
Would it be Senate?
His judicial picks.
I'm pretty sure it's Senate though.
No, he doesn't.
Am I going crazy? Probably. I know nothing about the
Senate
structure of America here.
Senate's elected.
Senate's elected?
Yeah.
Wait, so is it his
He picks
Congress?
No, Congress is elected too.
Hold on! Wait, He
picks judges. Federal judges and Supreme Court judges.
You know what? No. We're cutting this out of the podcast, Matt.
Why?
Because I don't want to sound like an idiot, because I am an idiot, low-key. No. So, I want to look this up quickly. 1 second. Bear with me. Shh, Matt, just go with the flow. You said you go with the flow. Go with the flow.
What are you talking about?
Okay, the separation of powers within the states. So what exactly is the Senate then? U.S. state elects 2 people to represent the U.S. Senate. Okay, so then for Congress, who elects what?
It's the people again. They just elect. It's based more on population, no? So you can have states like California and New York ending up with more congressmen than states of smaller populations like, say, West Virginia or Maine.
So then who does he... So you're right. So, no. Hold on. I want an image there. Here, where will I ask you to cut this?
I'm not going to cut it now. Now that you're asking me to cut it, I'm not going to cut it. Like this entire
I'll fucking kill you. Matt, you want to die?
That is a death threat. If I am murdered...
Yeah, it is. You want to die?
If I am murdered and the police are listening to this, please know that my guest is a prime suspect.
All right, hit me up. You know what my number is. Hit me up, and I'll let you know I didn't kill him. Why? Because I value the life that I live, my quality of life. I'll just kill him in my mind. He'll be a ghost to me. Okay, no, fine.
The president,
I know nothing about the states when I should.
The president appoints.
House of Representatives, Senate. Is that what I was looking for? Cabinet? Yes.
Yeah, his cabinet.
Oh, no.
Yeah, sorry. His cabinet, he does appoint, but they have to be approved by Congress. And but he appoints federal judges and Supreme Court judges. So that's important to a lot of people, like especially concerning like issues like abortion and Roe v. Wade and gay marriage. Because if, say, there's cases that come up and all the judges that he picks are conservative judges, then they're going to take a conservative view on whatever course they're seeing, and then they'll rule that way.
And then that's how they fucked up the education system and blah, 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 blah.
Well,
not blah, 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 blah.
Well, but yeah, that might be another thing. Because the conservatives and the Republicans, they definitely want to push more towards private schools and take away funding from public schools. And
well, it's more so
Betsy DeVos as the
Black Lives as well.
As their head of the education department is probably one of the worst mismanaged appointments. A person who has absolutely no qualifications in their position that I have ever seen. It's terrible. You should watch like just her confirmation hearing. It's an absolute joke. But
well,
like, just about every media interview she's ever had is an absolute joke. I don't see how she's put in charge of as manager of a KFC, let alone
savage.
Let alone the head of the entire education department of the United States.
Well, when you don't give a fuck, or you just want to push your agenda, then you hire people who will do it for you.
That's the point.
Okay, fine. I will take the slap on the wrist. I know nothing. Actually, that's not true. I know quite a bit. Thank you. But I know nothing about that.
What was your point about Trump and his appointments? Like you were...
I forgot. Well, it was more so just putting people in power that would support your ideals. But I feel like that wasn't my original...
Well, but that's the point behind his, again, appointing judges and who he'd appoint.
I remember. So we were talking about the election, and how we felt and etc. And then I said that Trump's not going to do a lot of damage. But then I didn't think about the people that he could also put into positions of power that could change things for him and go along with what his ideals, like his party's ideals were.
Right.
And so then that's how we got onto like, where are those people that he appointed? And I don't know anything. Apparently, I learned a lot of my U.S. politics from Netflix.
Okay.
From Patriot Act.
Okay.
Have you watched Patriot Act?
Is that the one with Hassan Minaj?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Matt, you'd love it.
Probably.
I genuinely think that you would love it. It's so informative. Apparently not informative enough because, like, I don't know shit that we can see from the last couple of minutes here. But it's very interesting because it's concise, it's informative, it actually breaks down the issues, and it gives evidence to what they're trying to prove and what they're trying to inform you about. And then it also gives you a solution to the issue at hand. So it's not like, oh, the world's on fire. They're like, oh, here's a bucket of water. This is how you get water. This is how you put out the fire. What do you do with the ashes after? How do you clean? Like, I find that it's one of the very few that's entertaining and actually informative. So I think you would love it.
Okay.
Another thing. See, from that, okay, I know you're not going to watch it. See, the Children of the Sea.
That is probably the one recommendation that I actually like would give serious credit to, but because you just like gave me like, oh, you're probably not gonna watch it. Yeah.
Oh no, don't use that as an excuse. It's not gonna fly with me.
That's about it right there.
I stick my tongue out at you, sir. But it's fine. It's fine. I see all the failed attempts on my screen from this USB set here, this headset. All the failed attempts of it falling. Anyways, sorry. I digress. Let's see. Oh, I've been with you for 2 hours, dude.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty good time.
Yeah, I'll let you go then. Because when I think about it, I feel like, one, I'll embarrass myself more, so no, thank you. I don't want that on the internet. And two, I also feel like we've talked about a good range of things. Mm-hmm. I think that I found this interesting. Did you find it interesting, Matt?
Yeah, I found it pretty interesting.
Damn freaking right. You should have. Yeah. I'm glad you did. Okay, are there any closing thoughts? Anything that you would like to say to the people listening to you or to my beautiful face?
Nothing on my end, I guess.
Alrighty. In that case, on my end, I feel the same. Do you normally have a sign off there?
No, not really. I just want to say, what do you want from me?
Intro and a sign off. That's what I want.
I just usually say, tune in next week.
Oh, okay. In that case.
Something like that. Come on back.
Am I back on? Another technical difficulty. Sorry.
That's 3.
Okay, I'd say that's
you cannot keep
1.75.
No, can't keep together for.
Just like TT. TT means crying. That's what it is. These are tears. Anyways, fine. In that case, listen next week, people. And I'll be listening with you.
That's it for this week. Check out our Facebook page and check out the Island Podcast website for all the platforms we're on. Well, see you next time.
All right, bye-bye. Thank you.